Yeah. Sorry, that was a stupid sound effect. Okay. Hey guys, it's Katie and welcome back to Lucid Inciting Incident. In the last episode, we finished talking to Mr. Iota about the connections to the murders in Yaiko, and it just seems like that the people that disappeared or were murdered were in Yaiko's club. So we kind of verified that. I'm just wondering, like, is the killer killing people that are close to Yaiko, or is Yaiko doing it himself? Then Yama hangs out with Eri for a little bit, and she gets us some alcohol from, I think, the kitchens, and we almost get caught by a teacher. We then ditch class with Mizaki, and then we go to a drama club with Akira, and we end up running into Rue, and that kind of makes the situation a little awkward since they had fought and everything. Later that night, Elizabeth stops at her house, and she's asking Yama why he was at the train station when Shoji died. Her father is the superintendent for the police department. So that kind of explains why Elizabeth knows certain things about what's going on with the case. At first, I was a little suspicious, but I mean, she explained it in the last episode. So the next morning, Yama is looking for some coupons to go shopping, and he ends up finding Haru Bunya's phone in his apartment. So I'm kind of curious, like, how did his phone get in our apartment? Does somebody else know Yama's key code to his house? And who? Who is it? We then switch to Rue's character, and she talks to Akira for a little bit on, that her and Yama should make up. And when Rue is on her way to Yama's house, she sees a shadow in her, like in the corner of her eye when she's like walking down the street or when she's at the academy. So it kind of seems like someone was following her. Then we switch back to Yama's character, and it seems like he had a lapse for maybe like, what did he say, like 8 or 10 hours? So, I mean, I wonder what he was doing in that time. Was he just like wandering around the city? Anyway, we go back home, and the police are there, and Shigure is there as well, and they're saying that they want to arrest Yama for being the primary suspect of the murders. So Yama runs away, so let's continue where we left off. I grind to a halt at the subway platform, sliding into the nearest bench. Alone in a crowd, isn't that the expression? Hanging around in public is probably the worst place for me to be. As soon as they get a hold of my picture, my face will be broadcasted across the nation. Who knows, maybe it's already posted on Patter. Maybe Mizaki or Yaiko have already stumbled across it, and like Shigure, just like Shigure, turning one by one. Not a friend, not an errand boy, not an academy student, a murder convict. Why wouldn't they leave? Why wouldn't they all just go? Because you're not guilty. The voice is almost deafening in my head, resounding in every corner of my brain. I almost start at the sound. But what I want doesn't matter. The evidence says otherwise. Killings happening at night. The culprit, someone who knows the security procedures of the academy well. Someone who can fake sanity too well. What if, when I'm sleeping, my personality changes and I get up, sneak across town? You know that's not true. Alright, that's enough. I close my eyes and quiet my thoughts, waiting for an image to materialize. Sure enough, a familiar figure steps onto the scene. What are you doing here? I'm here to bail you out, kid. Last time I checked, you were supposed to be keeping me sane, not, putting voices in my head. Ha, I can only keep you sane if there's any sanity to keep, kid. Touché. What you're feeling right now, that's disassociation. You're subconsciously alienating yourself from your own emotions due to anticipating future trauma. I know what disassociation is. I like it. You, what? It's a painkiller. What isn't there to like? Snap out of it, kid. You can only get to the bottom of this if you dedicate yourself to it, 100%. You can't be afraid to feel. I hope you know how cheesy you sound right now. Will it make you feel? Feel what? Exasperation? You can't give up, kid. Not now. Why not? What's there to discover? That I'm a murderer? A fugitive from justice? Look, do you honestly believe that you're the murderer? Yes. Well, clearly, you don't, or you wouldn't have dragged me here. You've got my time for now, kid. Make it worth it. I start a little at the accuracy of this Ryota. I must have spent way too much time with him. So, the null hypothesis is that I'm the serial killer, and the working hypothesis is that I'm not. Good start, good start. What does that mean? It means that I just need to find evidence that I'm not the killer. But you won't settle for that, will you? You want to find out who's really behind all this. I might not even know him. You're kidding, right? There's this huge piece of evidence hanging right in front of you that, meh, you know what? It's more fun if I just watch you figure it out on your own. I find myself becoming intrigued. How much do I know that I think I don't? Enough to solve what the police, with all their resources and brainpower and authority, still can't? The police are limited by a little something called bureaucracy, you know. Besides, remember your advantage. My advantage? Over the police? You have a core piece of evidence that they know nothing about. What might that be? Okay, ooh, victims' psychological profiles, no. Because they could probably get that information from the school, right? School gossip, Haru Bunya's phone, dashing good looks. I don't think they have the phone. I have the phone. So, Haru Bunya's phone. I have Haru's phone right here with me because it was in my apartment. Bingo. The police don't have his phone, and their physical possession, not like you. They don't have the same hints. Now, to be fair, they were buzzing around your apartment like vultures around a cadaver. So, something definitely attracted their suspicion. But it's not like anyone else was at Haru's murder besides you and the killer. At least, no one who witnessed it firsthand. Well, what about Yaiko? Yaiko was there. So, that's not entirely true. Not only that, but the police didn't come into my apartment until just today. I found this phone just tucked away in my apartment. It had to have gotten there somehow. So whoever put the phone in my apartment knows the code, since there were no signs of a break-in. And, well, you're basically saying that the killer is someone close to me because they can access my apartment. It's totally Nasuki because she said she knew our freaking code. That's the only person that admitted to Yama that they have his code. So, don't you think that she planted the phone? It's gotta be her. Yes, and? You don't think that it could be, I don't know, me? Oh, really? Then how did you lure the victims out even though you weren't close to them? Or why didn't you remember taking the phone from Haru, or removing its battery, or putting it in your drawer? That is really true. Balance of probability remains that you would have remembered at least one of those events. Even so, we are not seriously entertaining this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde play, kid. You know your own medical reports. The lapses are a problem with your memory, not your behavior. It could have changed since then. Do you even know how sad it is that you're losing an argument with yourself? Just move on, kid. We've only got so much time. Even I have to admit that it's an unlikely scenario. Right, so then what? So assuming you're not the reason why Haru's phone is in your apartment, then how did it get there? Well, someone else had to put it there. Good. Who and why? The killer, to frame me. That would have been the only other person with access to Haru's phone before the police arrived, and the police wouldn't have planted the phone in my apartment. Also, Another reason why I think maybe Natsuki planted the phone, and maybe she could be the killer, is because Haru was found in District 6. Natsuki lives in District 6. And like I said, she knows Yama's code. She knows things that people have been doing. She said she knows stuff about the killer. Or maybe she's connected to the killer. I don't know. Interesting. Hey, now we're getting somewhere. Even if you found the phone, the killer wanted to make certain that you wouldn't know what it was for. Why did that fail? What? Well, you found out it was Haru's phone because you turned it on. That was clearly not within the killer's plan. So he's saying that the killer didn't know about the wall charging feature, the tracking feature, the voice. I think they said a flashback happened where we were back at the amusement park, and they said Mizaki and Yaiko said that it was a lottery drawing for weed, which was the wall electric energy something. I forget what the D was for, but yeah, it's a wall charging feature. Like it will charge close to an outlet or something like that. The killer might have taken out the battery, but he didn't know that I could power the phone just by plugging it into the wall charger. Which means he knows about some technology, but not all. He knew enough to take out the battery, but not enough for the latest features. Ha, good going. You might actually solve this for real. See, you already know one thing about the killer that the police don't. Hooray, let's throw a party. Suck it up, kid. There's another weird thing about Haru's case that you need to remember. Happen to know what it is? Ooh. Time of death. Method of death. Okay. I want to say it's the location. Because all the murders happened in the forest, right? And Haru was found in the alley. So, location of death, I hope? He was killed in an alley in District 6, not in the forest. Good, good. And? It's a place with too many potential witnesses around. Even though the forest has police on patrol, it's not like they can secure a large portion of it, much less the entire forest. He probably knows the forest like the back of his hand. He could have easily snuck around them. A sad truth, but good. Although it would have been risky to take a screaming victim to an area swarming with personnel. Would the forest have been swarming with personnel 2 days ago? 2 days ago. Well, 2 days ago, I think that's when we were at the train station with Rue when Yaiko and Shoji were fighting. So maybe there was a prominent accident elsewhere? No, there was a prominent accident elsewhere, right? The police can't be everywhere at once. Oh? That day was also the day of Shoji Hasegawa's death, right on the subway tracks. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Then I can't imagine that the group at the forest would be anything more than a skeleton crew. Well, technically, those would be two entirely different divisions. One's with violent crimes, the other is probably with civil affairs or something. Usually, yes, but it might have been reported as murder. Yaiko was arrested and interrogated for it. Did you see how easily he walked out of it? Must have been a witness interrogation, not as a suspect. Well, it's either that or his parents were influential enough to... Okay, we're getting off topic here. Let's just settle it like this. It's likely that it was handled by the Violent Crimes Division because it involved the death of another academy student in the wake of multiple student disappearances. Furthermore, there were 3 witnesses at the scene, you, Yaiko, and Rue, and all of you are also academy students. Happy? Ah, why didn't I think of that? You just did. So why does that matter? The forest was still a fairly viable option, and at the very least, it would be away from overly inquisitive citizens. Then why was Haru still murdered in District 6? I guess it'd mean that the killer wasn't entirely in charge of his circumstances. Things didn't happen according to his plan. So then, the question we must ask is this: why and how was Haru murdered? I can't answer all of that. You're killing me over here, kid. Fine, I'll rephrase it. Remember how every victim previous logged in for curfew before they disappeared? Yeah. But Haru didn't. He was away from school even before curfew tolled. See something weird? Besides the obvious break-in pattern? Holy smokes, kid, the pattern is odd. Why would the killer kidnap students after curfew? Let's say I'm your everyday Joe. Well, your everyday psychopathic Joe. I need to kill a couple people here and there, and for reasons unknown, it has to be a bunch of kids at the super uptight private school. When would I choose to strike? After curfew? Tell me why that's an obvious disadvantage, ignoring the obvious security problems. It would... take place in a hard-to-see dark campus, limit the suspect pool, or delay sleeping patterns. I'm pretty sure it's limit the suspect pool. Let's try that. Because security locks down on the school after curfew, only a few people can be out and about. The suspects would be limited to students or maintenance staff like the janitor or security team. Good. Hardly ideal circumstances for a killer. So, pretty safe to presume that he wouldn't act after curfew unless he absolutely needed to. Which means that Haru Bunya missing curfew was his own choice, because if the killer kidnapped him before curfew, then why didn't he do so to the other students? Unless this time was an exception. Hey, everything can be an exception. You'll never get a working theory that way. Now, let's think about this. Haru skips curfew while the killer is confined. Night falls. Unlike the other victims, Haru is out of school, but still ends up being killed. He probably thought that he would be safer if he wasn't confined to curfew. Oh, no, you don't think that. You think he went to look for the killer. There's no proof of that. I wouldn't say that. It's easy enough to stay safe in public. 24-hour fast food restaurants with CCTVs, public hospitals, even the police department, for crying out loud. The killer might know the school security system like the back of his hand, but he can't control all of Izumo. And Haru didn't seem like the stupid type. Just so, coincidence? Probably not. Good boy. But if that's the case, why wouldn't he tell anyone his suspicions? You tell me. Because he didn't have any. He was just gonna tail the first guy who left the school. And on that note, why didn't he notify the police if he was gonna take such a risky action? Why wouldn't he notify the police? Why wouldn't he indeed? This is what you want me to feel. Correction, this is what you want you to feel. Because I have to understand what Haru is thinking. You only don't understand Haru because you're distancing yourself too much. It's time to get real, kid. Check that phone of yours. Check my phone? I stumble out of my concentration in a disoriented mess. Still in the subway, which is now completely empty. How long have I been thinking? I peer around at the abandoned platform. Nothing but the soft flickering of dim lights. Well, I guess it makes sense. This isn't exactly a major station. A dull vibration in my pocket of my pants redirects my attention. Ah, that's right. My phone must have been vibrating all this time. From Shigure, probably, to lure me someplace or another, or some teacher to warn me on my absence, maybe even a friend who's wondering where I've been. It probably was vibrating from the moment I entered the subway, vibrating incessantly. commotion. I tend to shut it out when I'm overwhelmed, distancing myself from reality, as Mr. Ryota would call it. Childhood trauma, learned behavior, coping mechanism. One moment, the world is there, and the next, it's just me, along with the figureheads inside my brain. A caricature of Mr. Ryota to help me think better, or a caricature of Rui to stabilize my emotions. Such extremes haven't been necessary for years. After all, what excitement happens in high school? Gossip? Relationships? Bullying? But now, I'm distant. I feel it in myself. Something hollow, cold, something that, apparently, couldn't even notice the vibrations of my own phone. Well, guess I eventually noticed. I humor myself and scroll through the notifications. Daily mundane life, I expect. Who's calling me? Thursday. Sarge, hate to disturb your 1,000-year slumber, but have you seen your destined princess? Yaiko. Dude, have you seen Rui? Is Rui with you? What? Rui, MIA after school. Respond ASAP. Rui is missing? Dude, don't tell me that the person that was following her, kidnapped her. Was that the killer? I don't even realize it, but my fingers weaken and my phone slides through the spaces between my knuckles and turns end over end. Clatters to the ground. The shrill impact of fine glass against concrete echoing down the hollow, utterly abandoned passage in which I sit. Rui. Missing. Oh my god, my heart's thumping. Rui is missing. It starts out as a disappearance. 3 times. A disappearance from school. A mysterious vanishing after a logged curfew. Yeah, but she didn't try to go to Yama's house after curfew. I mean, it was still daylight out. No one can find them. No one can contact them. Phones are tracked and found in garbage disposals. CCTV footage turns up corrupted or deleted or looped. Then the bodies are found, peeled, sliced, ripped apart. The mutilated remains of what was once a human being. What if one of those bodies, one of those victims, someone who gave terrible rending screams that only went unheard, was Rui? Waking up in the cold dark, greeted by a pale croaking voice, seeing nothing but the sheen of a blade in the moonlight, something that saws through flesh. I force a shaky breath into my lungs as my chest constricts. The world pulses. Rui is the next victim. Oh, hell no! What are we gonna do? An afternoon disappearance, another break in the pattern. One more shaky breath, my vision spins. Rui is with the killer. With someone whose mask is perfect, who disappears without a trace, who eludes the police without effort, like everything is just a game. How are we going to figure this out in such a short amount of time? How long did the killer even have the victims for? You know, they didn't say okay, well, for example, what was one of the person's name? Akane, right? She went missing. They don't say oh, she was missing for this amount of days and then all of a sudden her body was found. They don't give us a time frame that the killer spends with the victim before he kills them or anything like that. So I don't even know how much time we have. Someone who isn't caught by an army of highly trained officers of law enforcement. Someone whom I can never dream of catching. Rui is going to die, and there's nothing I can do about it. Oh my god, I need to breathe. I feel like my heart just went like 1,000 miles per hour just reading this. I'm just a 17-year-old kid, hiding in the subway like a homeless beggar, a refugee from police custody. Rui's smile, her teasing, her nagging, gone, just like that. Another figure who entered my life, only to leave me, violently ripped away before her time. Another person who deserved to live so much longer. Pull yourself together. Moping around doesn't help anyone. If you want to be useful, then be useful. Lizzie. Figures I'd see you. You'd like to challenge me. Guess this time wouldn't be any different. So, things aren't hopeless? What amazing advice do you have for me? This comes almost mockingly. A crushing weight has filled the space that was once empty and shock. I have nothing left but sarcasm and cynicism. In response, Elizabeth's image flickers into Mr. Iota. There's still a key that you have to remember about Haru's case. A key? Recall it. How did you stumble on the killer in the first place? Haru sent me a location ping. It's only after the sentence spills out with too much ease that I realize its irregularity. Haru sent me a location ping? We're not even close. Not only that, but there was barely any time between the location ping and his death. So, somehow, in his last moments, just before he died, he decided to send a location ping to me? I fervently racked my brain for an answer. Would Haru really do that? Would he really put the fate of his life on me? I scanned through the flowcharts of known ways people socialize in my head, but it turns up blank. My brain is freezing. I can't see beyond the mental image of stumbling on Rue's body, cold and bloody, mouth open in the last remnants of a scream. No, Haru. Location ping. Why would he send it? Why would... Blood, terror, the crushing force of water. No, stop, must think. I force all of the habits from excessive therapy sessions into practice. Deep breaths, tall spine, tense all muscles and relax slowly from top to bottom. Her life is at stake. Rue could die any minute. Maybe she already has. Or maybe she's cramped up in whatever sick place the psycho has, waiting and dreading the moment when nothing will be on her mind but excruciating pain. Damn it! Mr. Iota bleeds into Elizabeth, flickers for a moment, then bleeds into Misaki. Yama? I can't do this anymore, Miki. Please, just leave me alone. I know this is hard, but right now, you're the one with the best chance at finding the killer. Because of this damn phone. You know what? Fine. I can't handle this on my own. I'm giving it to the police. Won't they just arrest you? Yeah, but they'll find out that I'm not the real killer. But they have to trust your word that someone else put the phone in your apartment, rather than you taking it from Haru himself. Yeah, they ain't gonna believe that, though. I mean, Yaiko and Yama were talking to 6-6. Haru's body was there. All what would have to happen is Yaiko be like, well, I saw Yama there. He has Haru's phone. Haru's dead. It's where it happened. I don't see how that could be possible. It could take days, maybe weeks to clear the situation, even if you are eventually found innocent. And by that time, Rue will be dead. Miki, please, help me. Rue, don't you love Rue? She needs us. In that case, do you remember whether someone sent you an out-of-place location ping? I've received and sent too many damn location pings to keep track of. Maybe you can narrow it down. Or maybe you can just start using your head. Before Haru Bunya, was there anyone else who accidentally sent you a location ping? Yeah, it was Misaki actually. The day that Yama ran to the forest because he thought Rue was missing. That same day, Misaki sent us a location ping up at the rooftop at the school, and Yama thought that she was confessing her love to Yaiko, so he went running over there, and yeah, then he ended up being in a film shoot. Actually, now that she mentions it, I remember something. Pinged. Izumo Imperial Boarding Academy rooftop. A location ping from Miki? Did we arrange something? I don't recall any conversations with her. Yeah, it was you actually. You sent me a location ping by accident. You mistapped because my name was right under... Wait, mistap because my name and his name are right next to each other. Oh, so that night in District 6, Haru sent me a location ping because... Wait, but how did he get my number though? Well, anyway, Mizaki accidentally sent us a location ping because she was trying to message, like I said, Yaiko. And I guess maybe our names are like right by each other. So maybe he was trying to send, Haru was trying to send Yaiko a location ping to like maybe get help or something? Maybe because he knew he's being followed by the killer. Yaiko Akari? When I think about it, everything fits too well. Yaiko Akari. He started the Happy Club and is connected with 3 recent deaths, Akane, Shoji, and Haru. And before that, he also knew Midori and Toyoma. And he would know a lot about the Academy's security and technology, maybe even more than the average faculty member, being the son of higher-ups at Lemniscate. And I've seen how in the blink of an eye, he can shift from joy to depression, almost as if he has perfect control over how he wants his emotions to be seen. So are we suspecting that Yaiko's the killer? Okay, so... But why would Haru send Yaiko a location ping if he thought he was the killer, though? Like, why would he want him to know where he's at? And he knows me. Knows the code to my apartment. Oh, I didn't know that. Knows my schedule. Knows my actions and my reactions. He was there. At the murder of Haru, Yaiko Akari was there. He had coincidentally run into me, seemed flabbergasted that I was there, so kindly offered to cover for me. Oh, is that what he was talking about? I'm trying to think back. Oh, well, he's like, I'm trying to help you, dude. Get out of here, or something like that. Yaiko Akari, my former roommate. My friend. Well, isn't that just so damn typical? The serial killer can't just be some random chump off the street. No, he has to be someone close to me. But as my fury intensifies, as black anger, nausea, everything solidifies the blood in my body, Mizaki's image fizzles into Masato. What kind of friend are you, man? You know it ain't Yaiko. You've known him for 2 years. I spit bitterly. Yeah? Give me some proof. I'd love to believe it. For starters, you got no proof that some big shot organization just hacked out your lock. Might be tough to break for one person, but ain't even a sneeze for a team of pros. So, you're saying that the serial killer could actually be an organization? And they decided to frame me when I caught one of their members killing Haru in District 6? Well, yeah, something like that. Then something doesn't make sense. If the killer, or organization, whatever, weren't close to me, it's weird that I'm still alive, Haru's phone was in my apartment, Academy students were targeted. If we are going with this theory that it is like some type of organization, I mean, that would kind of make sense too, I guess, because when we would go back to the killer in the forest, and he was talking to that other person, like when you'd come pick up the bodies or something like that, he was like, where are the others? So, I mean, that's why I thought like maybe Natsuki was involved and maybe that police officer, you know, to try to cover for this killer, but I don't know. Okay, so if we are going with this theory, I guess it would be I'm still alive. Like, why wouldn't they have killed Yama at this point, right? It's weird because I'm still alive. Why wouldn't they just kill me? Witness to the crime scene, out by myself in District 6. They wanted to frame you, man. Framing someone who's alive does a whole lot more than framing somebody who's dead, especially if he can't really defend himself. But that's the thing. How could they know that I couldn't defend myself? Huh? The only people who could possibly know about my lapses are ones who are close to me. Really close. Rui and Masaki for sure, and maybe you and Yaiko. Which means that the killer could have only have been one of those 4 people. It can't be Rui. It can't be Masaki. And well, I'm pretty sure it can't be you either. But you don't think that way for Yaiko? You want me to list the evidence alphabetically or chronologically? I can't believe it, but Yaiko actually fits. Let me ask you one more thing, man. Do you really think that Yaiko's the serial killer? I just told you that. Do you really believe? Like you believe the sun will rise every morning and I'll badger you into track every day? That Yaiko's the man? No, I don't. I honestly don't. Everything goes against him, but for some reason, I can't imagine that Yaiko would be the serial killer. But isn't that shallow-minded? Isn't that foolish? Couldn't my reluctance lead to Rui's death? Right then. Mazuto's image fizzles into Akira, who jabs an energetic finger in my direction. Righto, cheerio. Time to think this from another angle. We got ourselves some tricks up our metaphorical sleeve, Sarge, so don't give up yet. Yeah, no offense, but you're not exactly the person I want for logical thinking. Oh, but what you need and what you want are 2 completely different things, like dying versus not dying. Well, what do you suggest? Well, you have a suspect now, right? Don't flip the turtles out before you prove whether he's guilty or innocent. That's like counting your chickens before the avian flu strikes and wipes them all off the face of the planet. So, find proof of Yaiko's innocence? Easier said than done. Much easier said than done. Oh, I wouldn't say that, Sarge. You've got some things stewing in that brain of yours. Such as... Akira suddenly morphs into Misaki. Don't you remember how the killer forgot about the phone's wall charging feature? Yaiko loves technology as much as I do, not to mention that his parents work at Lemniscape. Yeah, that is really true. Yaiko does know a lot about technology, so I don't know. I mean, I do find it strange that all the people in Yaiko's club would disappear and be murdered. So, I mean, is this person like just trying to target people close to Yaiko? I really don't know. This is so confusing. I don't know if we're coming to the end soon or what's happening exactly, but it is getting very confusing for me to figure out who the killer is. I mean, when I was playing like Life is Strange, I guess they kind of dropped hints, but I'm really not seeing it. So, okay. If he were the killer, do you really think he would have forgotten something so simple? That's, well, right. But by itself, it's pretty weak. Misaki fizzles out, allowing Elizabeth to take center stage. And think, what does Haru's mishap really imply? Remember, in his panicked last moments, he was attempting to send a location ping to Yaiko, but his finger slipped on you instead. Oh, of course. Why didn't I see that before? Haru was trying to send a location ping to Yaiko too. Oh, Yaiko too. My theory is he was trying to get help. But, I don't know, bait him could be one too. Distract him. I think he was trying to get help. I think that Haru might have found out who the killer was, and he was trying to run away from him. Maybe, or I don't know. But I'm pretty sure he was trying to get help. I think in those last moments he was trying to get someone to help him because I think he was being followed, like what happened to Rui maybe. Get help. Haru wanted to let Yaiko know that he was in danger. If Yaiko saw that he was in District 6, well, I think that even Yaiko would know that something was wrong. Correct. Also, Haru's must have eventually been able to get a signal through. Because he showed up, even if it was after me. Not only that, but he already called the police. I'm trying to help you, dude. You have to get out of here. Now. Why would I? Go. Leave! Which means that your entire basis for suspecting Yaiko Akari is now null and void. A little part of me relaxes before I realize that this doesn't actually solve anything. Yeah, like, Rue is missing. We gotta find her. Rue's gone, and I'm nowhere closer to discovering the killer than I was before I started thinking. Rue is still in danger. I'm still a runaway convict. The serial killer is running amok, having his little grim parties. Is there nothing I can do? Nothing? Wait one moment. Think. Why did Haru not notify the police before he began tailing the killer? Oh, so that's what he was doing. Oh yeah, so he did figure out who it was. Huh, interesting. Dude, he should have told more people. The reason why the killer went after him is because Haru didn't want to open up and be like, hey, the killer is this person. We should stick together. You know, we could fight him or whatever. That was kind of stupid. Like me, he is a capable individual. We don't just miss such things. Why indeed? Why wouldn't Haru have requested backup or at least given an anonymous tip? Oh. He doesn't trust the police. He didn't want to alert the killer. He lost access to his phone. Well, we already knew that he alerted the killer if the killer was after him. And after the killer had killed him, took his phone. So I'm guessing he doesn't trust the police. I know that freaking police dude is in on it, dude. He didn't alert the police because he didn't trust them. Didn't trust them? Why? A personal traumatic encounter? Previous difficulties in dealing with law enforcement? Or could it be something else? Could it be that Haru saw something in the police? Something that he could never forget? Ooh. I don't trust your little freaky hand thing anymore, Katsu. Is that his name? Katsu? Katsu Kobayashi? You know more than I do. What is your opinion on the matter? He was my errand boy. You claim to be good at reading people. Are you saying that you misread the suspect? I am not wrong. Then you agree that Yama Ishimoto is the prime suspect. I agree. Could Haru have seen corruption? Why is it that a student was the first one to think of camping outside the school and tailing the serial killer? Why is it that the investigation force didn't even go through the school, scouring the area for any evidence on the killer? Why is it that no city CCTV ever turned up with any results? What if all this time, sitting behind the curtain, watching us dance, the police was just there, laughing, watching us run in fear as they pretend that they're trying to protect us? And that would mean Haru died for nothing. Yaiko called for nothing. And now, Rue will disappear, will be shredded to pieces, will be left to rot for nothing. And there's nothing, not one damn thing, that I can do. Catch the killer, find the evidence, package him up and ship him to the police department, and he'll just walk free because it was all part of the plan. Or worse yet, they won't even catch him. They'll have him surrounded, and he'll miraculously break free, and they'll give chase like a bunch of fools. And Rue will die for nothing. Rue, with her fiery passion, and her love, and her endless enthusiasm for her dear ones, will pass into the fate of nihilism. Were there no instinctive value, no purpose, no beneficial weight to her sacrifice for me? She'll be remembered, maybe by a memorial for victims who were the targets of a horrifying serial killer who will, maybe, one day be brought to justice? That would be her only identity, a murder victim, a girl who had her whole life ahead of her, one more poor soul in the annals of injustice. No one would know her smile, or her little quips, or the way she bit her lip when she was nervous about something. No, the name Ruhayada would only bring knots of pity and despondent sighs, and if she's really lucky, fuel for a movement for treatment of mental illness or weapon control or some other political objective. And then, as days pass on, as time becomes months and years and decades, she'll be forgotten forever, drowned out in the names of other victims who will be remembered with nothing but nods of pity and despondent sighs. Nothing but non-existence. Ari suddenly appears and stares at me with such intensity that I swear she's almost real. Do not lose focus. Her image blurs at the edges, rounding out, hair turning orange, and... Gosh, you're a wreck. What happened? I open my mouth. A feeble, unintelligible noise bleeds out. You try to do too much, Yama. That's the problem. You want to do everything, but everything becomes so overwhelming that you just end up doing nothing. You can only do what you can. The rest is out of your hands. I can only do what I can? Yeah, and right now, all you can do is figure out who the killer is. You're up for that much, right? So, you're stuck because you think the killer has to be you, me, Yaiko, or Masato, right? I guess. My voice comes out very small. I squash the temptation to reach out, touch her jacket, her hair, anything. Because right now, she's not real. Right now, she might even be... Are you paying attention? No. Wow, I think I finally know what it's like to be one of your teachers. I cough out a cross between a chuckle and a snort. It's so close to reality, but it's not. Then, oh all-knowing teacher, what do you have to say? Well, your passcode is literally so stupid that anyone who saw it just once could get in. But that's not the problem. The problem is that the killer knows about my lapses. No, wait. There's something strikingly familiar about what she said. Why'd the music get so creepy? Didn't she mention this before? Didn't she say something like this before? There's something vitally important about that statement. Your passcode is literally so stupid that anyone who just saw it once could get in. What sticks out so much? Just once. Just once. The clock is ticking. Never select a wrong answer for the deduction sequence. Ooh, dang, I'm good. Yeah. Well, I've been paying attention. It's not like I haven't been paying attention to this game since it started, you know? So, she's been talking about someone who had seen my code just once. Someone who commented on how stupid it was. Please. Your code is the stupidest possible code to exist on the planet. Even Mr. Ryota pointed out how stupid it was. Wait. Mr. Ryota? It can't be. Jiro Ryota. Dude, are you serious? Mr. Ryota? Dude, so much is making sense then. Like, we've been going to him for help. All the other students that are probably problem children probably got referred to Mr. Ryota. Oh my god, dude. I'm like so pissed off at myself because it was there as plain as day. He would have that information on the students because they set up a program for new students to talk to him about their problems. But why did he kill the people that had problems? Maybe he thought that they were just scum or something like that because like they had a mental illness or something like that. I don't know. Okay, well, we're gonna find out probably. So, oh my god. I should have figured it out. It was freaking Mr. Ryota. But I have such high hopes for people. Man, what the hell? A man who helped me move into my apartment, who commented on how stupid the code was, who certainly would have remembered it. A man who knew all of the victims, because they each were fighting psychological problems. He was the school counselor. I didn't even know he was the school counselor, though. Like I just figured that he was the freaking dorm manager, and fucking the teacher was like, oh, you should go talk to, like, maybe they had different assigned dorm managers. I didn't know. Like, they didn't straight up say he's a freaking school dorm counselor, did they? I can't remember. Oh man, I'm so irritated. A man who would know the security of the school inside and out, yet would not be up to date with the latest features of smartphones, like a wall charger. Oh man, Mr. Ryota, he's so cool. I'm scared. A man who was strong enough to inflict the same wounds as the serial killer, smart enough to outmaneuver the police, controlled enough to fake sanity in the day. A man who, after curfew, is free from his duties. And a man who would approach me after seeing me at Haru's murder site, surprised that I didn't seem to remember what had happened. So much more is making sense to me. A man who would certainly be curious at my unusual reaction. A man who could access the confidential school records and learn about my lapses from there. A man who I trusted. Mr. Ryota, what the hell, man? Dude, oh my god. This is crazy. Trusted too much. Why? It's not you. There's something I must have missed. A proof, a theory, anything. Why? Why did it have to be you? You damn old geezer. Why would you even? Why? Nothing but silence. The silence of finality, of a door that's been opened and can never be closed. Mr. Ryota, all tension leaves my body. I can vaguely feel myself slumping on the subway bench, neck uncomfortably stretched to accommodate the weight of my head. Mr. Ryota, my mentor, my friend, and the serial killer. You're really different today, Yama. What's bothering you? Back then I should have seen it. Because why hadn't anyone else noticed? Why was Mr. Ryota the only one who thought something had happened that night? Oh. Who, me? Nah, I'm pretty much a free bird after I verify curfew. Oh, now you're so creepy looking at me, man. You smiling at me like that? I don't like that. I had had my suspicions. I'd known that there was something odd about him. But I didn't want there to be. I wanted to wave it away. I wanted to trust Mr. Ryota. I wanted just one person who would understand everything and stay on my side. So wait, is he targeting people that are close to Yaiko? Or why would he well, I guess Rui is with Yaiko, but what is his motives for this? Well, there's no explicit rule saying I can't use the confidential databases. Oh man, so much is pointing to it too, and in the beginning I really didn't think that it was him. I'm pretty sure that there is. I still think that the police officer Katsu and Natsuki Tanaka girl is involved with him. Because, yeah, I just know it. So was he like the creepy like art thing in the beginning for the prologue of the story? Where he's like, I feel like Van Gogh himself. And isn't Natsuki Tanaka an art student? And also with some of the victims, he was saying that they had art talents too. So wait, is he targeting artists? I'm so confused. Okay, Katie, just stop. Like, chill out. Nope, I may be faculty, but I'm not a teacher. It's only stated that teachers have to request special permission. I checked the loopholes. Right. You know how the entry student application to the academy requires a psychological analysis by a qualified physician, yes? Yeah, another security measure, isn't it? Let me read this and see what you think. He knew about my lapses, not because I told him, but because he had access to the psychological overviews of each student. he would have known each of the victims. Maybe they were assigned to his counseling care, just like I was. I don't know, man. I thought he was giving us information about the students when it was happening, though. Like, I wasn't like, oh, well, they all have a mental illness. Maybe they all went to counseling and saw Mr. Iota. He's the killer. Like, I was hopeful, you know? It seemed like he was helping Yama out. So I got... Man, I'm a pushover. God, I hate computers. But we all be dead without them. You know what was great? My desktop iPair. Man, that was great. Stable, awesome, and a killer whirl of the fan. You guys don't know how satisfying it is to hear your computer work to keep itself cool. That's kind of weird. No casual user has desktops anymore. Oh, and icon phones? Man, phone these days break if you breathe on them wrong. Icon phones? They could probably survive a nuclear blast. Ah, there we go. Finally working. And he knew about computers. Not an avid follower of electronics, not enough to know about weed, but enough to know about phone batteries. Instead of detention, the teacher's convinced that I need a more permanent solution. Like death? I can help you with that. Oh! I couldn't even remember he said that. Oh my god. Ugh. So, how's the apartment? Still in one piece, mostly. Good to hear. And Phil? Phil? The little houseplant. The one I placed on your shelf. Your memory sucks more than mine, kid. Wow, how do you have this much free time? Life as a dorm manager is just swell, isn't it? Like die-cut pieces of a complex puzzle, all the facts and memories line up in perfect succession. The killer is Mr. Iota. Now I know it with certainty. Intricately, just like I know I can sit on a chair and it'll support my weight, or I can walk under a bridge and it won't fall on top of me. I just don't know what to do next. Shouldn't there be a sense of triumph? A miniature party in the back of my head giving me a cookie for successfully finding out the killer? Something keeping me from going, something propelling me to the next step. I know the identity of the killer. Shouldn't I report this? But to whom? I'm on the run from the police, who may or may not be corrupt. I can hardly show my face at school, and if I called Mr. Iota, well, that simply wouldn't do anything. For the most part, it feels like I should just give up. There's nothing further to head to, no way out of the conundrum I've worked myself into. The situation requires me to be clever, more clever than I can be. I want to think myself out, find some magical solution, but sometimes it's just not there, reaching into an empty bag and expecting a handful of gold. Then, is this it? Ah, someone's calling me. Maybe I'll pick it up, and on the other end, I'll hear the cold, dead voice of Rui's parents, saying quietly that Rui has been found, but as a bleeding, mutilated lump of flesh and bone. Maybe I'll drop my phone, and this time, it'll shatter completely, crushed to pieces like the fragments of sanity stringing me together. Or maybe it's a tracking call from Lemniscate, a bid from the police that I'll be stupid enough to pick up. Oh my god, I should save right now. OMG. The number's unknown, the risk high. If I answer it, and it is from the police, I'll be caught in the blink of an eye. Rui will die. Ryota will run free. But if I don't, what then? I'll be left alone to fend for myself, and somehow, I'll have to extract Rui safely and catch Ryota, and somehow stay alive. Is it even possible, or do I need help, no matter how much I despise it? Answer? I guess let's answer the phone. No, I have to pick this up. Facing Ryota by myself will only result in getting both Rui and me killed. With shaking fingers, I answer the call. Hello? Yama Ishimoto, I need you to listen carefully. This is my personal phone. It cannot be tracked. The number you have been contacting until now has been my work phone. I need to hang up. Now. Surely they're tracking my number, narrowing down the district and block and even the last millimeter. But I only clutch the phone tighter. The walls that I built up, struggling to keep a foothold on my emotions, are starting to crumble. The police are in the midst of a manhunt for your person. They sincerely believe that you are the killer. And you need to turn myself in. I need you to stay out of sight and give me time. What, is this some kind of next level bait? I don't understand. Don't get caught, Ishimoto. Any time you might give me is time we may dedicate to catching the true killer. But you said you were the only suspect I could trust to avoid the police for the necessary amount of time. I fell into silence at this, the magnitude of her statement only growing the more I ponder it. You saw me at the apartments, and you were warning me? You hardly were inconspicuous. So, if you happen to possess any previously unknown information regarding the identity of the killer, now would be a wonderful time to state as such. It could be a trap. It could still be a trap. But I don't think it is. The killer is Jiro Ryota, the dorm manager and counselor of the academy. Silence falls momentarily on the other end of the phone. I can practically see Shigure's grip tighten. What? How did you come to know this? Shigure, did you get any recent disappearance reports? 3, actually. I need help, Shigure. Help! My voice cracks and I hate it. Hate feeling vulnerable. Hate feeling open. But I don't have a choice. Shigure falls silent for a long moment, and just when I'm beginning to think that she's hung up, she speaks. Will you live within the next 5 minutes? Her voice is slow and steady, soothing my frazzled nerves. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm not injured. Then, the urgency? Rue's disappeared. I work to speak, but my throat's gone dry. After a moment of silence, Shigure continues. You presume that she is with the killer. He must have taken her. I have no time to question you, Ishimoto, so I'll ask you this and only this. Are you completely, absolutely certain that the culprit is Jiro Ryota? Yes. I say it without hesitation. It appears to catch her off guard. Very well. I shall send forces to the academy under the reasoning that you may be hiding there. We may be able to find where he's holding Rue. That's it? She just takes my word as law? Thanks. In the meantime, stay out of sight and out of mind. Do you understand? But Ryota would see the police coming. He wouldn't stand still. He would escape immediately after killing Rue. Actually, I'm planning on contacting him. For what purpose? I need to meet with him, to buy some time. Otherwise... Shigure violently explodes into strident screams that I'd never heard from her before. You gullible imbecile! You moronic excuse for a... What are you even thinking? I'm taken aback by her sudden flare of passion, but my surprise is quickly replaced by indignance. At least I'm telling you now, aren't I? Oh yes, when it was nearly too late and I would have called a corpse. Simply put, Ishimoto, you haven't told me anything. Why would you not speak to me if you knew the identity of the killer? A very real bolt of anger lances through me. Why? Because I just figured it out. Because somehow, barely, at the end of my rope, I found something to cling on to. But I can't tell her that. If I say that I just figured it out, she might change her mind. She might need the reasoning. Who would trust a teenager who just figured out of the supposed identity of a serial killer? I had a good reason for doing so. Oh, good. Do enlighten me. What, you can't just believe me? Need to throw some more tests? Another little run in District 6? Hell, was that investigation in the school just another goose chase? A funny little game to see how the kids at the academy dance? What are you saying, Ishimoto? You're right, I guess. Even while I was figuring out who the killer was, I didn't call you. I didn't ask for your help. Because I knew what you would say. You'd poke holes at me. You'd say that my reasoning didn't make any sense. You'd need empirical evidence. I knew that you wouldn't have believed me. You never even needed me as your assistant in the first place. Cold silence descends. I wouldn't have believed you? And then something happens. Something that I would have thought to be impossible. Shigure's voice cracks. But you didn't even try. I would have believed you. I would. If you just trusted me, if you just... She falters for a moment, then seems to recover, her voice strengthening. Ishimoto, regardless of my previous insinuations, I need you to know something. I do not tolerate the idiocy of the average ingenious Desiden, much less than let them become my personal assistant. You have repeatedly proven yourself through your rational deductions, your level-headed procedures, and your propensity to attack problems from unusual angles. Your input is invaluable. Despite our clear disparity in experience, you have taught me several valuable lessons. Do you wish to know why I pulled your accomplices into the investigation rather than opting for a police unit? Simply put, my permissions in the case were barred from the academy. All information I was given was secondhand and thus easily corruptible. However, I was impressed by how you and your accomplices worked wholeheartedly. Yama Ishimoto, I have faith in you. Her words pierced through me. I'm frozen to the ground in shock, wordlessly opening and closing my mouth. Shigure believes in me? I don't even know how to react. But after that meeting with Natsuki, you fired you? That was for your own benefit, you imbecile. Or are your eyes too... Oh, never mind. This familiar type of response brings a chuckle out of me, but my mind is still racing. I have faith in you. Those simple little words. Words that tell me that I can do something, that acknowledge my efforts, that tell me, it's okay, you'll do the right thing. In the distance, I catch the faint glimmer of the approaching subway, hailed by the distant echo of the announcer's voice. Sudden clarity breaks into my mind. It's as if every disjointed piece just fell into place. I know what to do. Thanks, Shigure. I get to my feet as the subway grinds to a halt before me, but Shigure's voice comes harshly into my earpiece. Yama, listen carefully. We are en route, but there are powerful forces behind this case that remain very much hostile. It will take time to arrive. You understand this. I do. I'll get you time. I am extremely uneasy at the thought of knowingly sending a civilian into the presence of a known serial killer, but if you honestly believe you can prevent a death tonight, I shall not stop you. I think I can? Oh, well, that sounds convincing. I probably can. I suppose that is the best I can ask for. I would wish that you might wait until I could convey a firearm to you, but not possible with the current time frame. I have to go now. Neither of us mentioned that it would also be extremely illegal. Understood. Best of luck, Ishimoto. 1 sec. Stay on call. Oh, I'm getting nervous. I punch Ryota's contact and set the phone on speaker, waiting patiently. Shigure apparently understands. Not a word crosses her lips. Finally, a neutral tone indicates that Ryota's picked up. Hello? Hearing his voice makes me freeze. This voice that comforted me, guided me, made me laugh. In the end, it left me, just like everything else. I quickly shake myself, trying to master my words. He's an enemy now, a stranger. feign ignorance. Maybe I can still grab an advantage. Hey, Mr. Iota. Hey, kid. That's when I realized that something is terribly wrong. It's some ungodly hour in the morning, and yet he picked up immediately, and he sounds wide awake. Almost as if he's been preparing for this moment. Mr. Iota? Say, you have great timing. I was wondering if we could meet up. I know that it's like some crazy hour or another, but I have something pretty important to tell you. It has to do with, you know, your lapses. Is that really it? Is that why he's up? I can't bring myself to believe that. Mr. Ryota, I was just... But before I can add anything more, Ryota's phone buzzes angrily in the background. He pauses for a moment. Sorry, kid. Just let me take this call really quick. And he suddenly mutes. Fingers shaking, I also mute my end, switching to Shigeru's call. Did you hear all that? Quite clearly. Ishimoto, about the call Ryota just received, I am uneasy that it may perhaps... But that's when I hear Ryota's voice, and I quickly switch back to his call and unmute. Thankfully, Shigure immediately falls silent. Mr. Ryota? Mr. Ryota, did you find anything out about... Nice try. You almost had me. Hang up that call with the police first. Then we'll talk. Ooh, that Katsu guy's involved, man. He called Mr. Ryota and said that Shigure's on the phone with him. Oh, man. I knew that freaking police officer was shady, man. I knew it. Oh, man. I'm so nervous right now. I almost dropped the phone, a bolt of panic lancing straight into my chest. He knows? How could he? Hurry up, boy. I haven't all day. I shakily mute and switch the call. I expect Shigure to burst into anger, but she only seems resigned. It is as I surmised. A mole? That, or... She trails off, as if the thought is too terrible to comprehend. Ishimoto, knowing this new risk, are you still determined to enter the school? I have to. I can't let Rui go without a fight. I shall bring a unit. Give us as much time as you possibly can. I will. And Ishimoto, given the choice between a stupid option and a stupider option, which would you pick? The less stupid one? Wrong. You must pick neither and wait. Please, Ishimoto. You wouldn't enter the lottery nor borrow from a loan shark in order to buy a house, no? It is best to wait and save. Do you understand? What? Just remember this. As she hangs up, leaving me alone in the subway. I switch back to Ryota's call and unmute. He chuckles lightly. If you just asked the police for help, I wouldn't count on it. You don't know a thing, do you? I know you're the murderer. That's a pretty good start. Hey, murderer is such a harsh term. I like to call myself an artiste with an E. I feel like we should save again. I'm getting so nervous. He chuckles again, but this time it comes with a pinch of shrillness that wasn't there before. My foreboding only skyrockets. Just what kind of insanity has he been hiding? So, hung up the call. Now what? Quite simply, the fun begins. Come to my play, boy. I've been setting the stage. This just confirms my fears. For some reason, Ryota's been preparing to kill me. Maybe I'm the next one on his list. No, I can't let this shake me. I have to stay strong. Talk normally. You've done it before. Oh, the false bravado of a man in love? I know it well. Did I really sound like that, I wonder? It's so terribly stupid. Are you going to answer my question? Or are you going to wax more poetry? Poetry is by far the more interesting option, don't you think? Only for people with too much time on their hands. And that is the eternal problem, boy, for the both of us. We each have too much time on our hands. Far, far too much. Doesn't life just get so dull? Every hour, passing drearily, like a never-ending group project where all you want to do is murder your classmates. That's what life is. How do you ease your boredom, I wonder? Television? Social media? No, you do neither. Sleep? Thanks, Shakespeare, but I think my life is my own business. I look forward to stripping that sense of righteous anger within you and replacing it with terror. I look forward to you trying. Ha! I love the ones that fight back. It just makes their descent all the more satisfying. Before I can respond, he plows on, his voice gradually rising in pitch. Now, let's set the stage, shall we? I thought you were taking care of that. Oh, don't worry. I'll be taking care of all the props. Do you hear me, boy? Don't bring any extra props. The thought never crossed my mind. Leave your phone and any police toys at the entrance. I'll see if you try to smuggle something into the theater. Understand? Is that it? Not quite. Why are you so hasty to end the call? Am I boring you? Sure, let's go with that. Then I'll get straight to the point. There's a brief moment of silence, punctuated only by the faint tones of Ryota punching numbers into his phone. Then I can hear a voice. Yama? Yama? Don't you dare do anything stupid. Nothing hits me, but it's like all the breath has been sucked out of my lungs. Rue? Stay there. Don't come. I wordlessly open and close my mouth, desperately searching for words. My mind only runs blank. I'm sure you're already aware of this, but right now, I am the master of Rue's fate, so you might want to stay on my good side. This is how it's going to happen. You come to the back of the school, you know, the garbage truck route. You're going to dump all your toys, then I'll let you in. How? There's no entrance. Why is it that all you say the same thing? Boring. Where there is a will, boy, there is a way. So that's it then? Well, actually, I feel like I should tell you this, just out of the kindness of my heart. Rue won't be there, for insurance purposes. I'm sure you understand. My fingers clamp into a death grip on my phone. What do you mean, Rue won't be there? Hush, child. Why are you so impatient? Right now, Rue's in the safe hands of a third party, so long as you listen to my words. Yeah, so there's multiple people. It's gotta be Natsuki, right? So, we meet up, have a little chat, and I let Rue go. Everyone gets their happy ending, except the police, who, well, you know, they won't do anything anyway. A beautiful arrangement, no? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Oh, I feel like I should save again. I grind my teeth and force a long, slow breath. If I go, I won't be able to see Rue with my own eyes. She could be anywhere. Even when Shigure comes, we won't be able to find her. But am I really in a position to be making demands? I know, let's try our luck. Refuse these terms. No, if I can't see Rue, then this entire ordeal is pointless. I have to take this risk. You know me better than that, Ryota. I have to see Rue with my own two eyes. Who knows? You could be lying. You could kill her before I show up. I'm wounded. Do you really think I would do something so cliché? Well, I didn't think you would be a serial killer, but here we are. Forgive me for not taking chances. Fair enough, boy. I'll play along. She'll be here by the time you arrive. I'll even let you see her before you enter the school. That was oddly, very oddly agreeable of him, enough to make me feel as though I've walked straight into his setup. Then, boy, is that all? Time passes ever on. Can I get anything more from him? Right now, the situation still seems grim. I don't know, maybe we should reject because Yama thinks it's grim? I'd also like for Rui to be untied. So she can run away? As if you wouldn't be able to chase her down. Heh, playing hard to get, aren't we? Fine, because I'm so very magnanimous, I accept. Would your highness also like a pony? Any new terms stack the odds more in my favor, but I'm not currently in the position of power. If I push too hard, everything could go south. Okay, I guess we'll stop now. Let's just accept the terms. Because as long as Rue's untied and she's there, then, you know, that gives us a pretty good advantage. No, if I'm honest, there's not a whole lot more I can ask without making the request seem downright ridiculous to Ryota. Rue's going to be there. I'm going to see her. The police will know where I am. This is the most I can ask for. The back of the school, then? I'll give you 15 minutes. I'm coming from the subway station. Then you'd better run. Ta-ta. Ugh. And that's the last thing he says before he hangs up. Almost blankly, I stand in the middle of the subway platform, phone swinging loosely from the edge of my fingers. Then all of my muscles burst into action and I shoot out of the subway, legs pounding the pavement as fast as I can make them. My lungs start to burn as the cold night air cuts into my throat like knives, but I'm forced to ignore it. Stoplights in the cross sections warn me to stop, but when I see a gap between the incoming cars, I bolt across for my life. Engines roar by and horns belt in full volume. I'm certain that cars roll down their windows to call me crazy, scream that I'm an idiot, swear to call the police on me, but I don't care. They're coming back from a long work day, or from grabbing fast food around the corner, or picking up their kid from martial arts or cram school. Meanwhile, there's a girl hedged in a dark room, alone, her only company a crazed murderer who takes pleasure in the infliction of long, extended agony. And yet, on they go, with fast food and martial arts and cram school. Oh my god. The world blurs by in a haze of bright, fluorescent color, until I finally grind to a halt at the entrance of the school. My heart feels as though it's slamming into my ribs, bruising itself until it bleeds. I'm forced to stop and lean against the gate, gulping desperately for air. 13 minutes. I only have 2 left. I press my sleeve against the sweat coating my brow, allowing myself time for one more deep breath. Then I sprint around the perimeter of the school, stopping by the shady back area where all the good kids stay clear of. Ground up cigarette butts lie scattered on the floor, and if I squint, I can catch the light gleam of empty needles in the grass. Ugh. Well, maybe the school was a little less tidy than I first thought. As I near the trash bin, I notice a long, distinctly human-shaped figure leaning against a solid wall. Fine weather we're having. I expect the voice, but I don't expect the instinctive reaction that comes with it. My breath catches and my throat clogs, sending tears straight to my eyes, no matter how hard I try to keep them down. And Ryota steps into the moonlight, lips twisted into a lopsided grin. Out for a little night exercise? I try to speak, but no sound passes my lips. I know what he's doing. I know what this is. A power play. I'm sweaty, tired, disheveled, and likely very sleep deprived. Forcing me to run here only gave him more of an advantage. And there's nothing I can do about it. Now, removal of gadgets, if you may. What's up with his eyes? Is he crying? I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just a reflection. Wordlessly, I reach into my pocket until I remember. You said you'd show me Rue first. He only chuckles at this, not even a chuckle of amusement. It almost sounds giddy. Good, good. You're already learning how to play the game. He turns and points silently at the second floor of the classroom building. Most of it is shrouded in darkness, but just by the window, I catch a glint of... You saw, didn't you? So, phone? All I saw was orange hair. It could be a dupe. Sighing heavily, Ryota reaches for his phone and taps the screen a few times. He only has to wait a few seconds. Rue, your boyfriend is having some trust issues. Be a dear and look out the window. I stare at the building, forcing myself not to blink, half convinced that if I look away for a split second, I'll miss everything. The head of orange hair by the window turns slowly, revealing a distant pale face, muddled slightly by the distortion of the window. But without a doubt, it's Rue. I sigh breathlessly, instinctively. Something that I can't stop in time. Ryota smiles triumphantly. Phone? I silently hand him my phone. Turn out your pockets, pants and jacket. I do so. You're walking evenly, so I doubt you're carrying anything in your shoes or your underwear. Come in, we've wasted enough time. How? We're at the back of the... But then, he touches the wall and part of it slides away, and suddenly there's a keypad. He jabs a sequence of 6 digits into the keypad, waits, and then the wall slides open. It's nothing like one of those mysterious puzzles of ancient architecture in video games, where the whole wall rumbles apart while the ground shakes and dust falls from the ceiling, and a magical passage is revealed. Simply put, a door-shaped part of the wall swings open, as if it was just a door painted to look like the wall, except the texture is somehow exactly same. Oh, just to let you guys know, I'm going to be doing all the endings. Even if I mess up, I'll try to get the ending, and then other endings if it's possible. I haven't looked and seen, how many there are yet, because I don't want to ruin the game. So I'm gonna try my best. It's quiet. It's understated, and I would have never guessed in a million years that it was there. Ryota clocks my shock and only grins in response. Let me tell you something, kid. The janitor has to get in and out somewhere to dump his trash. Now, smooth little schools like this, they love to give the illusion that they're perfectly protected, impenetrable walls in every direction, the only gates supervised by a card reader and cameras. But, functionally speaking, you think that the janitor is going to walk out of the gates, all the way around the school, dump, go back all the way around, and through the gates? Of course not. That's sheer nonsense. Sheer nonsense. Something on the level of presuming that the janitor took everything to the land of the missing socks. Oh, I forgot about that. Yiko, I miss you right now. I knew that there had to be another way in, and, well, it took some searching, but that's how I found this. Why hadn't I thought of something like that? Why did it have to be Ryota? If you're trying to brag, don't expect a red carpet award from me. What I'm trying to tell you, kid, is that even the richest school in all Izumu has a crappy security system. I, one man, outsmarted it, just like this. To be fair, they probably weren't expecting a serial killer to be in their faculty. Ha, sloppy work on their part. Let's go. The night isn't getting any younger, and nor am I. Ugh. He turns and slides into the corridor, moving so fluidly that his head stays perfectly, even over the ground. I then notice that his careful steps renders him virtually silent, like a predator hunting down a piece of injured prey. It's a simple matter of exiting the building, turning the corner, and entering the classroom complex. He leads me up the stairs to the second floor. The floor where I saw Rue. He pulls open the door, lifting an eyebrow at me. I only stare inside the dim gloom, suddenly filled with dread. Everything could be a trap. Rue could have been moved. Shigure could be lying. There are so many moving components to this encounter, so many potential things that could go completely wrong. I turn my gaze to Ryota, who only jerks his head at the door in a distinctively more impatient fashion. Impatience. I follow this nugget into the back portion of my mind that's still miraculously working. Then, with one deep breath, I enter the classroom. Ryota fell straight behind me, announcing my appearance with a loud crow. And the delinquent arrives at last. He pushes up his sleeves as if he's getting ready for work, tossing his keys and phone on top of the desk, probably in an effort to unburden himself for whatever he has planned. I stop abruptly, my eyes roving frantically across the classroom, searching empty space. There! Huddled in the back corner of the room are 3 desolate figures, each tied firmly to their chairs. One of them, with streaks of orange hair shining softly in the scant moonlight, is Rue. For a moment, I see nothing else. My eyes fix on her and my throat closes. Happy? I shuffle forward, a choked whimper tearing out of my mouth before I can stop it. Dude, I got like this weird feeling in my gut, man. I don't feel so good about this. It's only after seeing her that the weight falls, that I realize how long it's been since we've last spoken, that I realize how much I missed her, that I remember what life was like without her. I brace my hands against the desk to keep myself from collapsing bonelessly to the ground, forcing slow and steady breaths into my lungs. I'm gonna save again. I'm getting nervous. Still alive. Alive and before my eyes. She screams, something muffled against her gag, and kicks the wall. The abrupt noise stops me in my tracks. Oh, it seems the damsel in distress wants me to share some lovely little words. Clearly amused, he stands to his feet and swaggers over to the chairs. In one fluid motion, he flourishes something from the teachers' desks and holds it high in the air. A knife, serrated and sickly, the blade glinting coldly at the edges. With a jolt of panic, I leap forward. Don't! He slices down. Time freezes. The tip of the knife whisks forward and straight over Rue's skull, stirring the air below it in two, and in the last possible moment, pulls back and neatly shreds the knot of her gag. The cloth flutters elegantly in the air, coming to rest on the linoleum below. Oh my god, dude. This doesn't make me feel so good. I force a ragged breath as Ryota screeches. Oh, kid, the look on your face. Priceless, priceless. I slump against the desk, my relief too great to allow room for anger. Instead, I stare at Rue, her eyes, her hair, the tip of her nose, letting the memorized image remind me of home. Comfort, teasing, loud Christmas dinners and scented candles at a town festival, whispered inside jokes, elbows in the ribs, playing make-believe like 2 idiots. Rue. What the hell are you thinking, Yama? Why would you come here? Her voice changes octaves with every syllable and her eyes are full of tears, but despite her terror, she's only worrying about me. I clear my throat and croak something incomprehensible, then try again. You're okay. Yeah, but not for long. Why didn't you just stay home? Because I couldn't leave her to die. Because I had to do something. I guess I got lazy at being lazy. She snorts out a choked laugh, something almost frenetic. As if she didn't mean to laugh, but she couldn't help it. Well, there's a surprise. She sends me a weak smile. I turn to Ryota, who only smiles lazily in response. You see, I'm a good sport, so very accommodating. You won't find an executioner of my tier anywhere else in the world. Executioner? Executioners kill for a purpose. Executioners are given targets by other people. Is it possible to get any information out of him? Executioner? You mean a glorified hunting dog? So I say this with an attempt in a cold, flat tone, but to my dismay, my voice cracks. This only seems to heighten Ryota's glee. Hunting? Oh no. Hunting is meant for practical purposes. Hunting is for the meat, or the hide, or the money from sales. I like to think myself as a gardener, pruning dead weight so the branches with the actual promise can grow. Okay, so he does think like they're scum, like the people that had like a mental ailment. He thinks like they're just worthless and that they'd be better off dead. My ID is my employer, my ego, the employee. And don't think I don't know what you're doing. Scrapping for time won't bring the police any closer, boy. Do you realize that you sound... No more provocations. It's time for school to begin its session. Ugh. God dang, I'm so on edge. He abruptly pounds the handle of his knife against his desk, blasting my ears with the sudden sound. My heart instinctively jumps into my throat. He snickers quietly at the shock that must be evident on my face. Ugh. Welcome, class. Hate to say it, but you're now in remedial session. Suffice to say, you've all screwed up in a big way, and it's my job to whip you back into shape. How I hate it, but someone in this snooty little elementary school has to smack the hands of the naughty ones. He suddenly whips to me, his eyes blazing fire, pointing the tip of his knife right at my chest. You, why aren't you sitting down? This freaking character's so scary right now. I sit down, throat dry, Ryota's shoulders immediate relax. Oh my god, this dude's crazy, man. Good, that's exactly how I like it. Now, Ishimoto, is it? Since you came in late, you get to be my special assistant. My body grows cold. My eyes immediately turn to the knife. Ryota, reading my intentions, chuckles. Oh, don't be so scared, boy. You'll help me discipline. Sounds like a much better position to be in, doesn't it? Relief courses through me, and I hate myself for it. I'll give you a little choice, boy. Listen carefully, because it's an important one. Each of us need to discipline someone else. That's a given. This is a remedial class, after all. But I'll give you two fabulous options out of the goodness of my heart. Either my disciplinee will be darling little Rue, and yours will simply be that plastic class skeleton. What? Or both of us will work on those two other students. Other students? Since when were... Ah, right, the two strangers sitting by Rue. I look to the back of the room, sizing up the three figures. The first is a girl. The second is a boy. I don't recognize either of them, but they look young, maybe in their first year. They're speechless, but even from where I sit, I can see the sweat rolling from their temples and dripping onto their necks, and their knees are clearly shaking. Oh! Both of them, absolutely terrified, innocent bystanders, pulled into the sick, dastardly game. Rue is next to them. Unlike the others, she is completely still, eerily so, like she's been turned into stone. But when I meet her gaze, I see nothing but tear of fear in her eyes. I need to save again. This got so real, dude. I don't know. She's ungagged. In a different circumstance, she would have volunteered immediately in order to save the other two students. She would have been brave and fiery and everything the world knows her for. The fact that she isn't saying a word tells me just how scared she is. My eyes drift back to Ryota, who only tilts his head. The knife twitches in his hand, and I suddenly piece everything together. He is a discipliner. I am a discipliner. Whatever he is planning on doing, I will have to copy. I don't know. I don't like this. This is so fucked up. If he breaks bones, so must I. If he saws through limbs, so must I. And if I don't, then all of us will be killed right here, right now. I don't think I can do this. This is messed up. I really didn't think this game was gonna come to this. Like, this is pretty fucking scary, dude. I don't know. I just gotta breathe. Okay. Because the only thing keeping him playing along is me. I could pick the class skeleton. I would only have to maim plastic. stop on plastic, break plastic. Everything would be safe. But then Rue would be in the hands of Ryota, and watching Rue get hurt, I don't think I could bear it. I came here to save her. Letting her die in Ryota's hands. No, there has to be a different way. But then what? The other 2 students? That's 2 lives instead of 1. 2 bodies instead of 1. Objectively, it's the worst decision in every way. Ryota knows this because he knows me, sometimes better than I know myself. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. The ultimate trade-off. I can't give up Rue. I just can't. But forcing 2 other students to suffer? Just who do I pick? Save again. Oh my god. This is not happening. Oh my god. Well, I'm going to be doing all the endings, showing you guys all the achievements that I may have missed in the whole game. So, man, I don't want to pick Ruin the Skeleton. Like, I want Yama to be brave and like try to stand up to this dude, but it's like I don't want to punish anyone either. But it's like, what am I supposed to beat on a skeleton while he kills Rue? Oh, I guess let's just pick the 2 students. Oh my god, I feel so bad. I try to speak, but it comes out as a croak. Desperately, I clear my throat and try again. Let's work on the 2 other students. The reactions are immediate. Ryota's face lights up in a manic smile. Rue's jaw drops. The other 2 students explode. You bastard! You damn bastard! I can't believe you! Please, please don't hurt my sister! Don't hurt me! This makes me freeze. Brother and sister. I silently watch as Ryota gleefully skips over to the chairs, dragging the 2 students over. Rue gasps breathlessly. Brother and sister, the cruelty will never end. I swear, if you lay one finger on my brother... Ryota stops abruptly. The momentum throws the girl against her ropes, temporarily choking her into silence. Isn't she just so darling? I picked her out specifically for you, boy. You... Did you? Oh yes, and she gets to be yours. My mind runs blank as the girl glares at me, hate burning clear in her eyes. You're disgusting! And I say nothing. It vaguely dawns on me that I should direct her anger at the serial killer, at the psychopath who orchestrated this entire thing. But can I really? They'd still had hope. Hope that they would go unscathed, that only one person would have to suffer rather than 2. I crushed that hope, the last hope they ever had. And now, they will die for it agonizingly, with nothing but despair. Instead, my reply is automatic and empty. I'm sorry. I fully expect her to spit in my face, but she only turns her head away. Hizo, look at me, Hizo. Hizayo? Hizo. I don't know how to say his name. The terrified boy locks eyes with her, face doused in a mixture of tears and sweat. You'll be okay. It'll be okay. Do you understand? It won't be. It'll be okay. I look at Ryota, expecting him to slap her into silence, but he only leans against the wall, grinning like he's having the time of his life. Of course, he must be having a field day. The pleasure of pain brings him more joy than death itself. I get the sudden urge to laugh, and I don't know why. Yama. The airy voice from the corner reminds me of Rue's presence. She's staring quietly at the scene before her, face bleached white. You're not going to hurt her, are you? Guilt, terror, regret, anguish. We must both be feeling their full effects. Close your eyes, Rue. She stifles a quiet sob. I turn to Ryota. Now that everything's set up, I need you to untie Rue. You know I can't do anything to you while you still have that knife, and neither can she. and neither of us will leave the other person to die either. Only because you're the teacher's pet, boy. He stalks over to Rue's chair and cleanly slices at her bonds. She promptly clasps her hands together, breathing deeply. Don't run, Rue. He'll kill both of us. I won't. I turn back to Ryota, hands sweaty against the fabric of my jacket. So, what are the rules of the game? Oh, it's quite simple. He strides behind the teacher's desk and pulls something out underneath. My heart drops. 2 metal pipes, around 3 feet in length, rough around the edges. Oh my god. He rolls one to me. I automatically stoop down and pick it up. We'll take turns inflicting blows on our disciplinees, good solid blows that make a nice musical sound. The first discipliner who knocks out or kills their disciplinee loses. The boy bawls at this point. Even the girl is shocked into silence. The first person to fall unconscious means a loss, which means I have to inflict pain without the promise of comfort. If I want to win, or at least not lose, each blow needs to be felt by their conscious mind. Ugh. And in that moment, I'll be just like Ryota. Oh, don't give me that face, boy. Be glad I didn't pick the knife. I mean, I'm pretty tempted to, but then you'd probably lapse, and that's just boring. Something like this needs to be remembered. So, are you ready to begin? No, I'm certainly not ready. I'll never be. I shift the pipe in my hand, feeling its weight. It's hefty, sturdy, could easily break bones, probably shatter a skull. And it's in my hands. I'll go first. Watch and learn. He stands over the boy, gripping the pipe tightly in one hand, keeping the knife in the other. I watch, transfixed, even while everything in my brain is screaming for me to turn away and close my eyes. The boy whimpers quietly, eyes wide, squirming about the crude ropes that bind him to his chair. Ryota smirks quietly at him and ruffles his hair. Not gonna lie to you, kid. This is gonna hurt like hell. No. Ryota raises the pipe painstakingly slow, reveling in the drama of the moment. I might have laughed if the situation wasn't so sick. 3, 2, 1. He whips the pipe down, but when it's just an inch away from the boy's kneecaps, he stops. Psych. The boy releases a great shuddering gasp, shoulders dropping in relief. Then, without a moment of hesitation, Ryota lifts the pipes and brings it down. Crack goes bone against metal, and the air splits from the impact of a horrifying, agonized scream, punctuated by a shrill screech of metal as the base of the chair grinds against the ground from the force of impact. The boy is still screaming as Ryota steps back, an expression that I've never seen before dawning on his face. Oh, beauty, true beauty, how poignant is your sting. He giggles quietly to himself as the boy writhes against his chair, leg forced into an awkward angle. Ugh! Damn it! This can't go on. I realize it quietly through the empty shock as my fingers tighten around the pipe. I can't let this go on. Is there a way to outthink the situation? Anything at all? When it's needed most, my mind fails me. Well, your turn, boy. 4 students, including me, 4 lives at stake, 2 thrust in the middle of terrible suffering. I originally came up with the intention just to grab as much time as I possibly could. I thought I could prevent a death, maybe 2. But there's no sign of the police, not even the slightest indicator that they'll come at all. And now, death is looking like the best option. To buy time, I'd have to draw out this game, causing as much pain to this girl as she can bear, while the boy suffers beyond description, and if the police don't come, we'll still end up dead. I can crack this girl's skull, give her a merciful end, and then I lose, and Ryota unleashes his knife on the rest of us. Or if I move really fast, I can maybe put an end to both her and her brother, in which case it would only be down to Rui and me. Yama, what are you saying right now? No. Shigure said she would come. She swore she would come. She said, she promised, she told me. She told you to stall as much as you can, Yama. She said, are you going to live within the next 5 minutes? Like, try to drag it out as much as possible, I guess. Stop dallying around, boy. We haven't got all day. Let's stall? Pipes? Don't you think it's a little, I don't know, dated? Just because something is old-fashioned doesn't mean it's bad. Oh my god, I don't even know what to do. Like, there's so many different choices in this section. Like, how am I gonna get it right? They didn't even do anything. It barely stalled him. Let's stall one more time. I don't see what you mean. Sure you do. Never been an avid fan of change, have you? Oh my god, should I stall again? Maybe I should stall until he starts getting angry with me. So, you're saying that I'm stuck in my ways. We all have a natural tempo. Nothing wrong with that. I can't tell if he's getting angry. Stall. That's certainly a positive outlook. I know what you're trying to do, kid. Cut it out. Make your choice now. Okay, I guess we're gonna have to do it now. I don't think attacking Ryota is really gonna do much. I think it's gonna end up really bad. I'm trying to stall. That's what Shigure told me to do. In a situation like this, it seems like the only option is to go with the flow. I automatically step forward, knuckles turning white as I raise the pipe. Shigure said she would bring the police. Shigure needs me to buy time. Buying time means abiding by the game, drawing it out, pain without mercy, conscious damage. Yama, please. Close your eyes. The voice that comes from my mouth is cold and blank, nothing like my own. I keep my eyes open as I swing the pipe down, knowing that I'd only endanger the girl further if I closed them. I see the pipe descend. I see the girl's eyes widen. I see... Ugh. This is so difficult to go through. Ugh. The vibration rocks from the tip of the pipe up through my arms to my eyes, which rattle in their sockets. Ugh. I feel the impact of her arm giving way beneath my own hands. Oh, this is making me feel sick. Something in me, something I hadn't known was there, slinks away into the shadows, gone forever. The girl gasps for breath as her brother bursts into tears. No. A brother, a sister, doomed to die. I step back, hand shaking uncontrollably. Ryota only throws back his head and laughs. Oh yes, that's it. I was worried for a moment, thinking that you'd pansy out. But you mean business right now, don't you? There must be something, some other way, some advantage, something that doesn't involve this. I still myself, keeping my eyes fixed on the girl before me, faking shock? Maybe. I can't say that I'm really faking. Meanwhile, I let my mind cast around the room, mentally recalling every sensory memory that is shoveled away as I entered the classroom, searching for some miraculous solution. The door sprung open beneath my touch as I stepped into the classroom, my figure enveloped in the nighttime gloom. Ryota stormed behind me, letting every footstep vibrate through the floor, up the doorframe, into the foundations of the building itself. He was enjoying himself, maybe a little too much. He was waiting for this moment, I think. The students that he'd carved to pieces might have had pleased him temporarily, but this night, this would be his magnum opus, and he'd want to relive it 1,000 times over. He grinned with confidence as he cupped his hands around his mouth. And the delinquent arrives at last. I shuffled further into the room, squinting into the darkness of the furthest corners, my breath shallow and my palms sweaty. In the meantime, Ryota pushed up his sleeves and tossed his keys and phone on top of his desk. That was when I saw Rui. Wait. Tossed his keys and phone on top of his desk. There was one thing that I'd overlooked, the mole and the police. No matter how quickly and secretively Shigure might act, there's still a high chance that she'd be found out. After all, it took only a few minutes for that mole to relay the news to Ryota. This time shouldn't be any different. Any time now, a phone call could warn Ryota, tell him to get away, and that would be the end. Shit. It doesn't matter if I manage to distract him with this game. It's not like he'll ignore a phone call from his accomplice. In that case, I need to get rid of that phone. I have a pipe in my hands, and I'm just a step away from the desk. The main problem is breaking it without Ryota noticing, or if he does notice, he won't think that I'm knowingly sabotaging him. Hello, to Yama Ishimoto. What is this, a little too much for you? My voice catches and squeaks, which makes me sound exceedingly helpless. That's a good thing. Ryota giggles quietly, but his eyes are narrowed. This must be a little rough, Do you feel like you're hitting your poor sister? I wouldn't worry. She's already dead. You know that. I grip the pipe tighter, my knuckles whitening with pressure. The rough edges of the metal start to cut into the palm of my hand. I welcome the anger, the panic, the helplessness that's swirling through my blood, gathering it into one tangled ball of black emotion. Must still be sour for you, kid, no? Would you rather hit the little boy? Shut up. Yama, please, don't listen to him. Come to think of it, maybe you'd have some fun if you had the boy. You'd finally get an outlet for all that self-hatred. Yama, he's just trying to get to you. You can fight it. Shut up, you bitch. With a frightening speed, he bounds across the classroom and seizes Rui by the hair, yanking backward until her neck is at an unnatural angle. Oh my god. Yeah. Sorry, that was a stupid sound effect. Okay. You know, I liked you at first, but now you're just a little yapping dog. I should slit your throat right now. Feed your esophagus to the brat over there. He gestures to the boy who's fastened to the chair. Rui makes an instinctive whimper deep in her throat. Do we have an understanding? Yes. Do we have an understanding, you blathering whore? Yes. Jesus. Something locks in my brain and all my emotions drain away until I feel like an empty automaton. You shouldn't have touched her. My vision blurs with rage as I raise the pipe with both hands, my arms shaking. Cold. Everything feels so cold. The edges of my lips pull up into an unbidden smile as a fleeting vision passes before my eyes. Ryota's body, battered and broken at my feet, waiting for me to make an imprint. I seize the vision, even as a deeper part of my mind shrinks away in horror. I let it control me. You shouldn't have touched Rui Hayata! Ah! God dang it! I slam the pipe down with as much force as possible. The metal pulses against the floor with an ear-splitting crack. Splinters of something white and shiny shoot away from the point of impact like a spray of bullets. The boy and the girl shrink back in their chairs, staring at me with wide eyes. It's irrelevant. Get away from her! I let my voice increase in volume. I let it shake. I let it steep with madness and fury. Ryota steps back inadvertently, not out of fear, but out of surprise. He almost seems pleased with my transformation. I lunge forward, my voice exploding shrilly out of my throat. Get away! Get away from her, or I'll kill you! I I start swinging the pipe madly, like an unbalanced marionette on a string, letting the end swivel into desk, chairs, walls, anything. I rush at Ryota, but he nimbly weaves between the desks and tightens the grip on his own pipe. My pipe passes within an inch of Ru's face as I whirl around, bowling in Ryota's direction, towards the desk. I vaguely register a look of open horror from Ru, but I flick it away from my mind like a gnat. I lunge at Ryota with a full force blow, swinging down, letting out a vicious scream. And just as I was hoping, Ryota is startled by my sudden burst of energy and instinctively dodges to the side instead of blocking my blow. Ugh. My pipe slices downward and splits the polished surface of the teacher's desk, sending shards of wood flying. The impact rattles up my arms and into my skull, but most importantly, I've hit Ryota's phone dead center. It shatters into a new pile of rubble, the resulting crackle masked by the destruction. I don't dare to take a pause. I can't celebrate the small victory. Instead, I let my anger fester and take hold of the pipe in my hands. "I'll kill you right here, Ryota!" I swing again at him, and he steps back, adjusting the grip on his pipe. He's getting ready to counterattack. The momentum in my arms carries my weapon straight into the wall, sending the plaster cracking. I let loose a scream of frustration, something that rips my throat raw and ricochets against the broken wall. From the corner of my periphery, I can register Ru clasping her hands. Yama, please, stop!" "Is that the best you've got, kid? You still haven't landed a single hit on this old man." I don't let myself think. I just swing the pipe unblinkingly at his head, knowing that it won't hit. And Ryota drops down, just as I suspect. His eyes widen with glee, and he swings his own pipe with one hand, and my stomach suddenly lurches back against my spine with a piercing hammer of agony. I'm sent sprawling to the ground, and Ru is screaming faintly in my ears. "Yama!" And then the coldness, the numbness, the emptiness, it all melts away, and I suddenly feel weary, like every footstep is being pulled through mud. Alright guys, I'm going to end this episode right here. I'm sorry that I got to cut it right here, but I mean, we're in the heat of it. I'm pretty sure it's getting close to the end here. I got another recording to do tonight, so I will be doing another one probably 2 days from now. So it's not going to be that long until we see the ending. So don't worry, just stay tuned and all that. But I just can't believe this is... I think I need a little bit more courage to get through this. So I'll have my courage next time we play. This has just been so real, and it's so graphic, and it's really freaking me out. So... Anyway, share the content. If you're enjoying my playthrough of Lucid 9 Inciting Incident so far, please leave a like. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments, and make sure to subscribe and click that bell button so you know when I upload the next episode of Lucid 9 Inciting Incident. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great night. Bye.